The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
Welcome into the EP Podcast, an episode coming out of the 4th of July weekend festivities that will be put together in the strangest of ways, Hannah, because some of this will be recorded at the 9-foot homemade oak bar, and some of this recorded mobily, and some of this recorded at a lake cottage, and some of this recorded over the phone, and all of this had to be put together, this 30 minutes of good for Evergreen Park, in such a way, not because I was partying this past weekend, but because a squirrel, one single, solitary, fuzzy,
squirrel,
probably infected with rabies, horrible little squirrel, chewed through the fiber optic cable that carries my AT&T fiber optic high-speed internet to my house, and took down the entire studio, the entire broadcast basement on-demand radio network, Sox in the Basement, the number one White Sox podcast in all the land, Southside Pod exploding all over the place. We do podcasts out of Pittsburgh. We've got the Zemar podcast, Butch Zemar, a local guy who talks about insurance. We've got all these things. We've got the EP podcast, of course, a couple episodes a week. All the stuff that we do, all the production we do for people, all the commercials we put together, everything ground to a halt because of a squirrel that decided to eat the line. And the internet goes out. And then what happens is after the internet's out in the morning, and of course I always find out at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Like I don't have to get up early because I'm a podcaster.
You're a podcaster. Right. You're living the life.
Right, I'm living a dream, baby.
Living the dream.
Right? My wife's got to get up because she's got to be online for work. Me, whenever I feel like it, right? Mm-hmm. Like whenever I feel like it. I already did all that stuff, you know? I used to work midnights when I was a 911 dispatcher and afternoons and miss holidays and have weird hours and not sleep for 3 days. I've done my time with that. Now I got this, you know? I sit at my bar, I podcast, I get to meet interesting people. Kelly Burke on the show last week. If you missed Mayor Burke, go back and get it. It's on demand. We've got a great guest today, surprise one. John Brand is going to be on the show, but he did a big event for veterans. And he brought on a guest that we've never had on the show that a lot of people will recognize the name. I'm going to save that for you later on in the show, okay? But we get to meet all these interesting people. I get to have a great time. It's a big blast. Everything's fun. Why do I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning? But 6 a.m. rolls around, and she's like, sweetheart, the internet's out. And I'm like, did you turn it on and off? Did you hit this button? And she's like, nothing's working. So I got to go down there. I can barely see. I'm like wiping the sleep out of my eyes. You know, I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy. Crazy. And I run a diagnostic thing with an app. And this is the problem with the world today. Yeah, it's awesome that there's technology where the app tells me how to fix it. But the app immediately goes, you can't fix it. Schedule an appointment.
It says you can't.
And then the app tells me I can't get an appointment for 3 days. So I'm down for 3 days. So then I call somebody. It takes forever to get somebody on the phone line. They're clearly not talking to me from America. Talking to somebody overseas. See, it's 6 in the afternoon for them. They're not tired. I'm tired. They're not tired. They're someplace else, right? And I'm trying to get an appointment. And it's like, well, no, our app says this. I'm like, you use the app too? Does anybody have actual access to like the scheduling book? No, everything's run through the app. Even I'm run through the app. Even the person on the phone's run through the app. So then a guy comes out to fix this, right? And I'm like, all right, well, there's a guy. Guy's going to come fix it. Okay, fine. He shows up. He walks around my house for 2 hours, only to tell me that he is not equipped to fix the problem.
Why did he come out?
So then I go, well, hold on a second. Both the app and that person told me this was clearly an issue outside of my house. Now you're telling me it's outside of my house and you can't handle it. What do you do? He goes,
what do you do?
I'm the guy who comes out and confirms what the app thinks. I'm like, it took 3 days?
Oh my God.
For somebody to come and confirm what the app thinks?
Oh my God.
I could have told you what the app thunk. Now I'm just aggravated.
Thunk.
I'm like, I'm using the word thunk.
You said thunk.
I'm so angry. I'm making up words that are only used in 1950s Disney cartoons. All right. And then it has to be put out for a ticket. Eventually somebody comes along. They have to run a whole new wire off of a pole. And during that time, the business has to survive. During that time, the podcast has to be put out. So you're going to hear segments of the show that were done mobily, segments of the show that were done over the phone, but we've put together a good show for you. We're going to get right to it right now. We've got fun stuff to talk about. It's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. It's never too early to start teaching your kids about money. This year, help them take the first step toward a healthy financial future with a junior savers account from the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. With a junior savers account, children can earn interest on every dollar they deposit so they can watch their money grow. That's a great lesson. Show your kids how rewarding saving can be and set them up for a future of success. To learn more, visit bankevergreenpark.com/JS for junior savers. No minimum required to open. Member FDIC. Let's go. Joining me on the phone line right now from Evergreen Park High School, she never stops working. It's summer. Aren't you supposed to be off, Amy Kazin? I thought all teachers didn't do anything for 3 months during this time of the year.
That's a lie.
I know it is. My sister's a teacher. I just figured I would throw that out there for fun. Now I'm worried you're going to jump through the phone line and kill me. You are doing something incredible that I know you have been waiting forever to do, and that is live theater back again. Tell me about what's going on. What are you guys doing?
Yes, we've been doing live theater, but we can actually do it for live audiences now, which is really, really exciting. Our summer camp is back again this summer. Last year, we were completely virtual, if you remember. All of our rehearsals were through Zoom, and we recorded all of our shows and put them out through a live stream. And then our shows during the school year, we recorded at school and put them out through live stream. This time we can bring audiences back into the theater. Yay! At the high school, our summer camp is presenting Lion King Jr., the Disney classic that is an adaptation of the Broadway musical. This coming weekend, July 9th and 10th at 7 o'clock at the high school. Live audiences invited.
How old are the kids that are in your camp? What's the age range?
The youngest is entering 4th grade, and the oldest is one of our recent graduates. So it's a pretty wide spread. Do
you use like the little kids to play like little Simba, and then you bring out another one to play big Simba? I'm just trying to figure this all out.
The audience will have to come wait and see, but it's a pretty wide range. There are some younger kids that have some pretty substantial roles as well. But in the case of the Simbas, both of the Simbas are actually both high school kids.
All right. So this coming weekend, you got shows over at the high school. Is there a cost? What does it cost me to get in there and watch one of these performances?
Sure. Adults are $4 and students and seniors are only $3. So for less than the cost of a movie, you can bring the whole family to actually see live entertainment, which we haven't been able to do in what seems like forever.
That is awesome. And you guys put on good shows over there. So I'm going to tell people right now, it's going to be good. It's going to be solid. It's going to be enjoyable. And it's going to give you something to do to get out of the heat, because we basically live now in a tropical weather zone. And you might want to head inside into some air conditioning and watch a live performance.
Appreciate that very much. And there's a link that you can buy tickets ahead of time if you check on the school's social media, or tickets will be available at the door. And the ticket booth opens an hour before show time. So tickets will be available at 6 o'clock both nights.
Is this it for you now? Do you get a break at some point this summer when you're done with these performances?
We will. We'll take about 3 weeks off to prepare for football season. We already had our band camp as well. But all of our athletic camps have been running all summer, and summer school and our bridge program for our incoming freshmen have been running. So the high school's active all summer, but the Kazins take a couple of weeks off to start to prepare for marching season, and then we'll be back at band camp August 2nd.
Yeah, you've been sitting around waiting forever, Amy, for everything to get back to normal. Now you're like, holy cow, there's a lot of stuff to do, huh? It's got to be fun, though, right?
It is. It's a wonderful thing. It's hectic, but it's really, really great to be bringing live audiences back, and the kids are wonderful. I mean, the kids that are willing to come in and spend the entire day during the summer creating art with us are just wonderful, wonderful kids to be around. So it's really fun to be around them.
Amy Kazin, our good friend over at Evergreen Park High School. Thanks for telling us about Lion King Jr. Everybody check it out this coming weekend.
Thank you for the visit. It's always great to talk to you.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. Now, Hannah, we're kicking into full gear next week because we couldn't do these things this week because of all the problems with the internet that I described at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It threw everything off. So next week, we kick into full gear. We're going to start giving away all the prizes we could possibly get our hands on. I've got a whole box full of things to give away to safe drivers all around Evergreen Park. So I want you to drive safely. And remember, you get double the money, double the prize if you have an EP Podcast car magnet on the back of your vehicle. You can get that car magnet at the First National Bank of Evergreen Park over at 95th and Pulaski. You can also pick it up at a couple other places. I know they have some over at Durbin's. Grab yourself an EP Podcast car magnet, double up your prize, and drive safely. Even if you don't have one, we may spot you and you're going to win. Also, it is time next week to finally bring in the finalist. And we're going to play some of the people that have applied, and you still have time. You have until next week's show to get online or get on your phone and apply to be a guest co-host of the EP Podcast. That is going to happen later on this month. So I have to select somebody very, very soon. The only two ways that you can apply to be a part of this competition, to be able to co-host an episode of the EP Podcast with Hannah.
Yes, with me.
I'm going on vacation. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Come work with me.
What you do is you go online to the eppodcast.com, and whatever device you're using, if it doesn't show up right away, start scrolling down on the screen. There's a little blue microphone in the bottom right-hand corner. Hit that and leave us a voicemail and tell us why. Why should you be a host, a co-host on the EP Podcast with Hannah coming up later on this month?
Tell us about you. Tell us what you want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What are you thinking?
If I had my own podcast,
Exactly.
this is what we would talk
And
about.
if apps are too confusing for you, do not worry. You can call anytime, 708-459-8406, and leave a message over your phone and do the exact same thing. Be the EP and drive safe at Evergreen Park. Two things kicking off this week. And I can't wait for next week's episode when we start handing out prizes and
gonna
getting
be
finalists.
fun.
It's going to be a fun July on the EP Podcast, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com. It is now time for your EP Podcast Word on the Street, brought to you proudly by Edward Jones financial advisor Tom Walsh. Tom is over at 111th and Kedzie, local guy, been doing this for over 20 years. Keeps me up to date all the time as I try to build my financial future. He can help you as well. Pop in at the corner, 111th and Kedzie, or give him a call, 773-779-0023. There is a retirement party for former Mayor James Sexton, Wednesday, July the 21st, 115 Bourbon Street at 3359 West 115th Street in Marionette Park. 6 to 9 p.m. and $40 at the door gets you drinks, appetizers, and live entertainment, celebrating 40 years of dedication and commitment to the people of Evergreen Park. You do not need to make a reservation or RSVP. You pay at the door. Another event coming up after that on Sunday, July the 25th, a free summer concert with the Neverly Brothers. 6 to 8 p.m. at Circle Park, 97th and Homan. And the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce is holding their annual golf outing on the 6th of August. This year it will be held at the scenic 9-hole course, Fountain Hills in Elsip. Play for fun and prizes in a beautiful setting, or just show up for the food and camaraderie, as there will be a barbecue after the event. Kicks off at noon on the 6th of August. Get more details and your tee time, evergreenparkchamber.org. And do not forget, if you have a family member in the military and you're an Evergreen Park resident, send a photo along with that individual's name and rank to epinf@hotmail.com to have them included in the new Hometown Hero display at the Village Hall. That's your EP Podcast word on the street. John Brand at Open Outcry with a big event for veterans next, right here on the EP Podcast. You've heard us talk about Cool Cloud's Vapor Shop, local Evergreen Park business that helps people stop smoking. In fact, they've been around right here in Evergreen Park since 2014, and they are open and ready now to help smokers get off of cigarettes with a $30 starter kit. A wide range of devices are available. Try a different flavor or a nicotine strength. And right now they're offering curbside pickup, delivery, and shipping options. Cool Clouds also has a growing selection of CBD products and recreational cannabis accessories. First-time customers, mention the EP Podcast for 20% off your first purchase when you sign up for the rewards program. With gift certificates available, get one now for the smoker you want to get off cigarettes. Cool Clouds Vapor Shop, 3837 West 95th Street in Evergreen Park. Age verification is required, must be 21. Remember, quitting smoking is hard. Lucky for you, there's Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Stopped by Open Outcry this week to see John Brand. John, how are you, by the way?
I'm doing well, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. You look like you're doing really well. This place is packed, and you got an event going on up here on the roof, right?
That's right. Well, we're doing today's a special day actually for us, for the Alderman's office, 19th Ward Alderman Matt O'Shea, and a charity that we're doing an event for tonight. I'm going to let Matt talk a little bit about that.
Alderman O'Shea, nice to meet you.
Hi, Chris. How are you, pal?
Good. Thanks for coming on. Evergreen Park doesn't fall like you're my neighbor, so we've never had you on the show before, but from what I understand, you're an avid listener of the EP Podcast, and I appreciate you checking us out. Thanks so much for doing this. Tell everybody about what you're doing up here on the roof tonight.
So this fundraising effort here at Open Outcry tonight is on behalf of the Road Home Program, which is an organization that provides assistance to veterans, service members, and their families who have served, everything from PTSD to anxiety, substance abuse. It's a wonderful organization that, unlike many organizations that assist veterans in crisis, everything is free. Everything is raised by philanthropic donations, which is why we're so proud as our community to partner with them and raise money and awareness for all of our veterans.
It's a solid place to have an event. Let's be honest. First of all, the rooftop's beautiful here. If you've never been to Open Outcry, it's just south of 109th and Western on Western Avenue. And how much does it mean to you to be able to have a venue like this to throw this kind of an event?
Well, there's so many things we're proud of in our community, but John Brand's investment here at 10934 Western, such a beautiful bar and restaurant, and to have this rooftop on what is such a beautiful night. We're just lucky to have establishments like Open Outcry so supportive of the community and just a staple.
Do you have a special beer for this tonight?
Yeah. So we actually partnered with Horse Thief Hollow and did a collaboration brew for this. We did two different variations of a hazy pale ale. Ours is a hazy pale that we call Home of the Brave, and 5.6%, easy drinking, not super bitter. Delicate amount of sweetness, those citrus notes from the hops we use, and I think it's clocking in at 5.6%. We launched it 2 weeks ago. It sold out in the tap room within 7 days, and then we held a keg back for the event tonight, and that keg blew within 45 minutes. So
wow.
We probably should have made more.
Well, so maybe something you get Will Turner to make more of in the future, because people liked it.
Well, anytime Alderman O'Shea asks us to hold an event for these folks, we gladly do it, and we'll make this beer as much as they want.
Do you have vets walking around here today? How many of them are actually involved and around in the crowd tonight, do you know?
The rooftop is loaded with men and women who have served our country. Our volunteer bartenders tonight are friends of ours from the community that have served in the United States Marine Corps, United States Army, United States Navy, who wanted to give back and be a part of this important effort, and we're just honored to be with them tonight.
And you must be happy now that everything's back and running and everything like that. That must have been a tough year and a half for you, huh?
It was a tough year for our community. I was just blown away by all the fundraising efforts to support our struggling small businesses. And as we get closer to normal, here we are tonight, all on this rooftop, enjoying the beautiful weather for a wonderful cause. It feels normal.
You a craft beer guy? Do you have a favorite here at Open Outcry?
I am. I'm willing to try anything, but really excited to be able to have our special brew in support of the Road Home program.
I can answer that question.
What does he normally get when he comes in here?
I've poured Matt maybe 1, 2, or 3 pints of the Speculator a few times. I know he's a fan of that.
That's awesome. Did you try it with the lemon and the lemon lime? That was that is one of his big summer ones.
I've had the lemon.
Yeah, such a politician answer, John. He's like, okay, yes, every once in a while I drink beer, but I'm not going to get into it too much. I get it. I understand.
Well, sometimes I've got to time it just right that I stop by, I pick up a couple to bring home
Right.
without getting yelled at by constituents about potholes or tree limbs or street lights out.
Well, it's easier, though, when they're drinking, right? You just buy them a pint and you walk out the door when they're not looking. Right, exactly. All right, so before I get out of here, John, what's the pizza that we're on right now? I mean, you're always stuck on one pizza. What are we eating right now in Open Outcry every single day?
Arugula prosciutto.
Really? You're still on that one?
The arugula prosciutto is still my go-to. I had one last night and one this afternoon, as a matter of fact.
This guy loves his pizza. Loves his pizza. Anything exciting here coming up in the next month or so? Any releases, any beers that you can think of off the top of your head?
Open interest is coming back on in the next couple days. Just 2 days ago, Will dropped the Lewis Winthorpe with agave nectar and peppers again. That's selling really, really well. We have a couple barrel-aged beers coming out in the next week or so, and if your listeners follow us on social media, they'll know all about those as they come out.
Alderman Matt O'Shea, is there anywhere people can go if they want to learn more about the organization that you raised money for today at Open Outcry?
Yes, they can go to our website, www.the19thward.com, and we have all the information pertaining to the Road Home program at Rush University Medical Center. State-of-the-art facility helping veterans in crisis.
Alderman Matt O'Shea, John Brand standing here, man. You got to be loving this. I know you. You got to be loving this. This roof has happened. The place has happened downstairs.
Well, I'll echo what Alderman O'Shea just said moments ago in terms of how challenging of a year it's been, how supportive this community was to all small businesses, and we were a beneficiary of that as well. To see our neighbors in our community come back out and to be able to see these folks again, catch up with them, shake hands with them, pour them a beer. The last couple of weeks has been really, really rewarding. It's almost as if the last year and a half was just a dream. Did that really happen? Did that happen?
I'm going to pretend that it didn't, but my Facebook memories are going to tell me that it did.
Well, it's nice to
It's
see.
like that show Lost. Was it real? What exactly happened?
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
It's incredibly rewarding to see everybody in the neighborhood back out again and to be able to share a beer with these people. I'm very grateful right now.
Going to be a fun summer here at Open Outcry, huh?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, thanks, Chris.
And folks, before I continue this podcast, I want to tell you a little bit about my friend, Larry Liebforth. Larry was born and raised right here in Evergreen Park and has been in business for almost 30 years. I continuously see him volunteering his time with local sports associations, helping out the kids, helping raise money for charity. And what you need to know is that Larry is there in case you need some help as well. For nearly 30 years, the law offices of Lawrence G. Liebforth have been handling every kind of law you can think of, from personal injury cases to real estate dealings, if you need a will drawn up, or representation in a criminal case. It's good to know you have local representation available, rooted in the community, with decades of experience. Located over at 4001 West 95th Street in Suite 200. Give him a call for any of your legal needs. 708-499-6300. The law offices of Lawrence G. Liebforth, here to help you. So Erica booked a vacation. And this is what we're going to need the co-hosts for, and that's why we're having the competition later on in the month.
Because Chris doesn't trust me by myself.
No, I thought it'd be fun. Look, you want to do it by yourself, Hannah.
No,
That's
I want
fine.
to have fun.
You're going to have to do all the typical work. You're going to have to insert all the commercials and put it all together and post it online.
So I got to do real work?
Yeah,
while
you
you're
got to
gone?
actually do work. I mean, I got stuff for you to do, all right?
Oh, come on.
The other person gets to have the fun. You got to
Don't we
work.
have an intern?
Maybe we'll find you. This will
For
find
free?
us an intern. Maybe we'll find an intern as a result of this competition. You never know.
You never know.
You know, this might be something where somebody comes on the show and they become a regular member of the show. Another reason why you might want to apply.
Your career.
Right.
Your career could start right here at the 9-foot Homemade Oak Bar.
Are you really jumpstarting a career, or are you just finding a way to get some free beers and hang out and have fun? Like in the summer, in the winter, in the fall, in the spring.
the summer, the winter,
I
and
mean,
the
like
fall, and the spring.
year round, it's nothing but fun here on the EP podcast. That's really why you're applying to go and do it, okay? But she's booking this trip, and she's been so gung-ho about it. And I got to ask your opinion on this. She wanted to go to the beach, and I'm all about the beach. So she wants to go to the Outer Banks, which sounds like fun. But she ends up booking a house.
A really nice house.
That is 6 or 7 houses away from the beach.
But it's huge.
But I'm not on the actual beach. Like when I go on a beach vacation, I want to open up my window and see beach. And she didn't book something that was directly on the beach.
Was there anything available that was on the beach?
I don't know if there was anything
available. It probably cost
available.
like 3 times the amount
Listen,
to be on the beach.
She's booking it. She's expected to find a way to do it frugally and on the beach. This is her responsibility. She took on the trip, Hannah. She said she wanted to do the trip. When I do a trip, I find a way to get all that stuff. All right? I get it all lined up. I'm 6 doors down. Does it matter to you when you go on a beach trip whether or not you're on the beach?
No, I got to be on the beach.
That's because, you want to be on the beach, right?
But you have a lot of people going. Aren't your parents going to meet you there?
They're going to go down there.
Yeah,
they're gonna,
you have 3 kids.
They're going to go down. I guess there's 2 things. One,
See, I could get like a shoebox little place and just be fine.
it's
Y'all
a
can't
golf
do that.
cart community.
Okay.
So you get to ride around the golf cart.
Ooh.
But the other thing is I don't even need a golf cart because supposedly for $50 I get a license where I can drive on the beach. And I've never gotten to use the sand setting on
You
my
have a sand setting?
I have a sand setting on my Ford Explorer.
So you're going to pay $50
Just to use it.
your sand
Yes!
setting?
Like I've had this car now. This car's got like 110,000 miles on it. And I've never got to drive it over sand. It's got the setting. Like when I'm trying,
It's got the setting.
When I'm putting it on the rain setting or the snow setting, I always have to kind of scroll through and I see sand. And I'm like, sand? When am I going to get to drive on a beach? And she finds out today that for $50, I can get a license to drive up and down the beach. And I'm like, could be a bad idea, but I get to use the
Are
sand
you going to do
setting.
donuts?
I'm going to do all kinds of stuff. $50. Be out there just like making donuts, figure 8s, I'm going to be on the beach. I want to drive it down next to the water and splash water off to the side, right?
Water.
And then I'm going to end up with the car in the water and then I'm going to have to buy a new car. Like it's like one of those things that I know is going to end badly and yet still I'm like, but I get to use the sand setting.
I could use the sand setting.
Right? Like, I mean, like, it's like that thing, like you have something, don't you have something on your car, like some setting or something that came with the
Drive a
car
Civic.
that you've never used?
No, I've
that
used it
doesn't
all.
have, Civics don't have anything on them
No,
exciting.
we're pretty boring.
Yeah, I mean, like I have all kinds of little dials and buttons and things for off-roading that I've never gotten to use before.
Yeah.
So I'm buying a $50 sand license and I'm going crazy.
Chris, you do you. You do you.
And look, either I'm going to have a great story about driving on the sand, or it's going to be, so how did sand driving go? Well, I was doing a circle in the sand and I flipped over and rolled into the ocean, and then I had to sit on the beach and watch the car slowly get pulled away with the tide. At this point, it should be moving right down the coast through South Carolina on its way to Florida.
Another show is wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nudist basement. And the nudist basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudist basement. Broadcast basement. The nudist basement. The broad basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.